Welcome back to Life Out Loud with Sean Gallagher, the show where we get real about life, faith, business, and everything in between. I'm your host, Sean Gallagher, and today I've got a very special guest. He's an entrepreneur, a self-made man, and a man of God, Andre Dowdell, where we're going to dive into his story, his journey, and the wisdom he's gained along the way. You don't want to miss this one. Let's get into it.
Alrighty, appreciate that, Sean. Thanks for having me, man. Excited to just share a little bit of my journey, how I got here, and where I plan to head. So I'm grateful for that and excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
So a lot of big things have kind of come up. You're now engaged. You've just done a trip to Tokyo, and now this all seems so big and so fast. But take me back to like where this dream of being an entrepreneur kind of came from.
Yeah, man. So just going all the way back, starting off Syracuse, New York is where I was born and raised. Shout out to the 315. Yeah, just growing up there, just great life, great family, great parents. Growing up, like it was really just my main focus while I was growing up was just football. Like from touching the field at like 5 years old, my focus was to get to the NFL, whatever it took. So, going through different schooling, I ended up going to private school for high school just because I wanted to get the best education, because I wanted to play sports at the most competitive level. And CBA, they won the championship almost every year. So shout out to my parents for investing in me and helping me be able to get to private school. I know it wasn't easy, but I had big goals and visions for myself, and my parents helped support that. And whatever it took to try to make those league dreams possible, that's what we were going to pursue. Went there from, high school, succeeded there, ended up going on to play Division I football at St. Francis University. Reason being, coming out of high school, I'm not the tallest guy in the world, right? So I didn't have any offers. And so my final decision was between St. Francis University and Albany. The reason why those were the two schools is because I wanted to go Division I. I just always tried to shoot for the highest level. So the only option was D1, and St. Francis, their nickname or their logo mascot is the Red Flash. So my high school nickname was Flash. So I was like, let's rock and roll with it. So ended up going to St. Francis University. Going there as a preferred walk-on was like an interesting experience, not being a scholarship guy, definitely had to work extremely hard just to be able to try to get on the field, which I didn't touch the field at all my freshman year. Sophomore year, or at least heading into sophomore year, went back home, just did a lot of work, worked on my routes, had a couple teammates. If they watch this, it'll be funny because they said my routes were childish, and that I took that to heart. And so I went back home and I grinded with that and worked on my craft and worked on my routes. And then coming into fall camp, I was the number one receiver on the depth chart. And so I thought, this is my year. I'm going to earn a scholarship. I'm going to start. I'm going to break out. It's league time. We had a couple injuries at that time. So by the time the regular season rolled around, back down. But I was lucky enough to get a few reps, and I made the most of it. First game I actually got in was against Albany, caught a quick screen pass, made the first guy fall. And then from there, I guess they saw what I could do with the ball in my hand. So I started getting a lot more playing time. Didn't start officially, but started to get a lot more reps, started rotating drives with the starter. And now I was in the rotation. I ended up getting hurt. And so I sat out a game or two, and then I came back in the playoffs against Villanova. We ended up winning the championship that year. So I am a Division I NEC championship, got that ring finally. So at the end of the season, I go to the coaches, and mind you, I've always, football, I didn't touch on this earlier, but football is something that gives you really helps you build the character that you need to get throughout life, whether that's teamwork, knowing how to collaborate with the people around you, discipline, work ethic. There's so many things that football teaches you, and I feel like that's what kind of guided me to become an entrepreneur today, is just those same things that were instilled in me since Pop Warner. But going and ending that season, I'm it's time to go. I need that scholarship. I need everything. But I say all that because one thing that always kept top in top tier shape was also my grades, because I wanted to get to whatever school that I needed to. And if my grades had to carry me there, that so be it. But so I did have some academic money at St. Francis. So I get to the end of the season, I'm like, hey, coaches, like, I need my scholarship. Like, I'm actually playing the field. I'm actually contributing to the team. Like, I need that money. And then, because St. Francis was expensive, it's a private school. But they told me that it would have took away my academic money. It would have canceled out. And so basically I would have been paying the same thing that I already was. And that was just a lot of stress on like my family. And it just wasn't feasible. So I was a little bit devastated about that, but ended up transferring to Edinburgh, which great school as well. Now getting to Edinburgh, they were D2, they were in the PSAC. Not too much of a change. You know, they're both pretty small schools. Edinburgh's there's a little bit more to do in Edinburgh because Erie's right down the street. You got Gannon, you got Mercyhurst. So Edinburgh was cool. Going there, I pretty much started every game, you know, worked my way up to being a captain on the team there. And overall, it was a great experience. From Edinburgh, or while I was at Edinburgh and even playing football, I also wanted to work some jobs to like help out my parents when it comes to the loans and whatnot. So I worked at Edinburgh University Phonathon, getting donations from alumni, so on and so forth, and was doing that while playing football. And then another job that I had was a residence hall director. So I was doing that as well. And then so I graduated my undergrad in marketing. I didn't really know what I wanted to do going into college. I've always been business oriented. Like when I was growing up in church, I used to go and grab the big bags of candy from Wegmans. My New York people will know what that is. So I'd go in Wegmans, load it up with candy, and I'd go to church and sell each piece of candy for like a quarter, like single thing of candy for a quarter. But I just always had that business mindset. And so I was like, I might as well do something in business, and marketing was just, in my head at the time, I just thought it'd be easy. I thought marketing was probably like the easiest major that I could go for at the time while like focusing on football. So that's what I chose, got my undergrad there. When I was graduating, that was the time that COVID hit. So I thought I was going to have a pro day, so on and so forth. I was going to get my shot at the NFL, at least get a tryout and go from there. But with COVID, all that was shut down. So I ended up going back and getting my master's. I feel like everything played out for a reason, and God like ordained all the steps the way that he wanted to, because throughout that time of COVID, I ended up getting a job. So I went to go back to get my master's, right? Then from there, I got a job working for the New York State Health Department as a case investigator, and I was making some pretty decent money. This was also while I was working as a residence hall director. And so went back, got my master's in business administration. From there, was working the New York State Health Department as a case investigator. I was making good money. And at this time, I was also learning about cryptocurrency. So like everybody was stuck at home. So I just was on Twitter, like deep diving, learning more about crypto. And so every paycheck that I got was going straight into crypto, loading. And we got a pretty decent jump 2021. And so I made some, at that point, life-changing money. Like, I'm like, man, I'm the richest person in Syracuse. So that was it was like life-changing. Now looking back on it, it was decent money, but nowhere near like actually life-changing. You know, one thing that I learned is cash flow is king. If you don't have cash flow coming in and you just have a lot of money, like eventually that will dwindle out, which I learned and I'll talk about in a little bit. But so at that time when I rekindled with one of my old teammates that I played with at St. Francis, and we both had similar mindsets. We both were minded, focused on our finances, so on and so forth. So we ended up connecting. We're like, yo, why don't we move down to Miami together, start a car rental business? And so that's what brought us to Miami back in 2021. And being in Miami, I was still at the case investigator job for the New York State Health Department. And so I wasn't as locked in on the car rental business as I should have been. So shout out to my partner. He like carried and he did amazing things with First Class Rentals. And so from there, like I was just working, kind of doing my thing. I had the money saved up from crypto. And then I'm like, man, I'm itching to play football again. Like I'm itching to play football. During COVID, actually, funny enough, like I ended up getting scammed because I wanted to play football so bad that somebody was like scamming people on like some overseas website, and he was portraying himself as like maybe an agent or like he worked for the team to recruit American players. And so I'm like, oh yeah, like whatever it takes, like I'm trying to start playing football again. Like this sounds like an amazing opportunity. So I'm paying for like, I don't even know what it was, like my e-visa, e-passport, whatever it took to like go over there and play. But really he was just collecting the money from all these players with their dreams and aspirations. So he kind of got over on me there. But so I tried that, then it didn't work out. So I'm like, whatever. But
Did that almost kill your dreams to kind of continue the search to play?
I'd say it did because like I forgot about it for like a few months after that. This was around 2 years later. Like got the spark again. But yeah, that was kind of like, are you kidding me? like like what's wrong with you? But I ended up getting it back like once I moved to Miami, funny enough. And I was like, yeah, I gotta start playing again. So I was actually home visiting my family around Thanksgiving time, and this actually at this point I was talking to a team from Hungary, and I was like ready. I'm like, yo, I'm about to go over there. I'm about to tear it up. Like that's about to start. But the only thing with them was the money just in comparison to USD, it wasn't much at all. So I was super excited for the opportunity. Like I was ready to go because I had that crypto money that I was sitting on. But my dad, he's just like, nah, it's not really worth it. So I let that opportunity to where it's at. And then I seen somebody that I played in a bowl game with after college. I seen them over in Mexico and they had night games. The stands were lit. I'm like, man, I got to get over there. Like, that's where I need to go. So me, I'm somebody who has forced success into the world. Like, I'm going to send out a million DMs. I'm going to make a million phone calls, whatever it takes to get that opportunity. So I started hitting up everybody in the league. And so one team got back to me. They went to go offer me a contract, but then they ended up going with two other receivers or something like that. And then so like the contract I thought was coming like that day, the next day, then I find out, oh, we ended up going with somebody else. So I was sick about that. Like I'm laying in bed like what the F? It's supposed to be my opportunity. Like I was super excited to go to Mexico.
So you talk about, football builds the character that you need for life, and talking about how you were the number one receiver and then first game, boom, bottom of the depth chart. You get one catch, you start to build your confidence. Where did your journey of football take your confidence from getting scammed to getting almost that contract to, you're getting so close? How did football build your confidence to be able to continue to pursue that dream?
Yeah, battling adversity, like that's something that every football player is going to go through. Me being a shorter slot wide receiver, I feel like I get a little bit more of that adversity, but I feel like, yeah, football definitely molded me. Now, football did come with its like benefits too, being the star player in Pop Warner in high school, like being the star at those levels, like that builds that confidence that I can do anything in the world because I'm the best. So then college kind of humbles you and you have to go through those hard times, but you still hang on to like what happened in your previous years while like still fighting through the adversity and learning through like the college years and maybe not so much in the star, but because everybody like, unless you're like, I don't know, Johnny Manziel, like, and you just go in there killing it. Like everybody like goes through that little phase learning curve when they go to college. But yeah, just building that like thick skin and being able to fight through adversity and just continue pushing forward. Like I feel like that goes a long way. And so after getting turned down, the coaches ended up going with someone else. I started hammering the DMs to find somebody else to take me. So I hit up every other team until I got in touch with the Hefes. Like I was doing everything that they needed, like so that I can just hurry up and get over there. And they ended up taking the chance on me. And yeah, I could have just moved on and been like, oh, well, it didn't work out. Let me just give up. Like how some people might have been. But I'm like, nah, I'm getting over there somehow, some way. And so you just got to force success into the world sometimes. So that's what I did. The Hefes took a chance on me. They were even talking about bringing me in as a running back. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Even though I haven't played running back since high school, I was sending them running back tape and trying to put things together. But they ended up taking a chance on me, brought me over as a running back. I knew I was going to end up getting switched to receiver anyways, but I just needed to get there. And so I go over there. I ended up leading the team in like offensive touchdowns, and Mexico was a great, great experience. Shout out to my people in Juarez, Mexico, Ciudad Juarez. They were great to me. And like, I never got my NFL experience, but being in Juarez, like they treated you like you were playing in the league. Like they were super nice, super kind. The competition over there was actually pretty good. There was a couple of retired or old NFL players that were over there. So the competition was good. We traveled all throughout Mexico. We played a game in Cabo. So, I mean, the experience was unlike any. And like just being able to be the 1% who play after college, like that's a experience that I'm super, super grateful for. So I got back from Mexico, and after Mexico, I started doing a bunch of traveling. Like that became my new hobby. I love seeing the world. I love seeing new cultures. And so it's an investigator job anymore. So now it's just savings. And so I'm traveling my behind off. Like I remember I went to Dubai for my 25th birthday, had a great time. I went to a couple other countries that year. I think Barbados. Where else did I go? I don't know. I went to like a few different countries at that point. And then now crypto was in a little bit of a dip. I'm spending all this money. I didn't have a job. So like I'm paying for rent out of the savings. And that's where I told you like cash flow is super important, because that savings went quick. And so now I'm back at square one, and I'm like, oh snap, like I need to figure something out. And so I started trying to find a couple jobs with my master's degree. And the only thing that I could really find like that you don't need experience with was sales jobs. And so I worked a few sales jobs, but didn't really like it, wasn't really enjoying it. And then I found out about Grant Cardone, and I saw that he was hiring. And I didn't know too much about him, but like I started to like see him popping up different places. I guess when your frequency is like whatever, I started seeing him pop up everywhere. And I'm like, oh, this guy's like, he's lit. Like that would be amazing to work for like a billionaire. So I go in and I go and do the first interview. And when I tell you like their team meeting was lit, that's probably what everybody says when they first go there. But like the team meeting was turned. Like they're blasting all this music. They have all the different sectors like sales team, marketing, real estate. And they're like going over their daily wins. They're playing the little like the sounds after everybody's like done saying their speeches. It was turned in there. Everybody's super dressed up and like fancy and looks good going to work. So I'm like, oh wow, like I love this place. And so
you weren't intimidated at all walking in there?
Nah, I mean, you just get used stuff. You get used to stuff. Like, I don't know. It wasn't too intimidating. There was a lot of people in there. It's not like I was meeting Grant face to face, and even still, like I'd probably just be my normal self. But it wasn't too intimidating. It was just a great environment. Like I've never felt like the main thing that I took away from that was people looked like they were excited to be at work. And I'm like, usually people like drag their feet in the morning. These people are full of energy, like high-fiving each other, excited to be there. So I'm like, oh wow, like this is a place that I want to be. So end up going through the interview process, killed the interview, ended up getting the job. And like when I tell you, it's like a grind. It's like playing a sport working at Grant's office, like especially being on the sales team. I don't know how it was for the other sectors of the, marketing, operations, all that other good stuff. But at least for the sales team, it was like they called it the Lakers. It was like working for the Lakers. That was a scenario that we used in one of our sales meetings. But like they congratulate you on getting there, but then it's like you're not a rookie anymore. Day one, like you better be performing. And like there was, you know, if you're not performing, like one day you can be gone, like just like that. Like it's like you better make the cuts and you better bring your A game every single day. But like just the structure there, it was super, super good and like great way to be organized. And I definitely think that I brought that to like my business and like the way that I carry myself now. Because like, I mean, you better be to work on time. You better be there by like 8 o'clock. Like the meeting starts at 8:18, but like you better be there early and you better be in your seat or else. You better like be dressed professionally. You better have a suit and tie on and you better be getting some deals. And so I went in there. My quota was 500K in the first 90 days. And like if you don't hit it, that's it. So I go in there. I don't get my deal for like the first week. I think I got it in like a week and a half or the second week. And so I end up getting my first deal. And mind you, that 500K, it might sound super intimidating, but Grant has like high ticket offers. So I was like, oh, dang, 500K. But then as I realized like what his offers were and different things like that, I was like, oh, all right, this is something that I can do. So I get my first deal. I'm working it. So there was like 300 dials a day. I'm hitting the phones. But like I said, the environment was good. I had a great sales manager. Shout out to him. He like work, not gonna lie. It was like working or like being like on a football team or like some type of sports team. Like you got your team, everybody's like rooting for each other. There's a lot of like collaboration. Like he's making sales fun. We're working the deals together. Like it was definitely like a great environment. Now, my thing, I was very good at the in-person events, like being able to see that person face to face, like build that trust with them. Like that's something that I excelled at. And that's where I made like a lot of my sales. But so I'm crushing it. I'm in it. I get to 476,000 and I get stuck for like 3 weeks. And so I'm like, dang, bro, all I need is one more deal. And so I'm working, I'm grinding. I end up, it's like my last week and I can't remember, but I don't think that I hit it. But I think they said like, because they like me, I'm one of their like type of guys, like I'm somebody who they can see working here. Like they gave me like maybe a small grace period. I end up hitting the 500K. And then a few days after that, I end up getting fired. You're done. No explanation, no reasoning. I still don't know till this day why I was fired after I hit the 500K. I thought I was in the clear, but looking back at it, it's probably because like I was a little bit split between the two because at this time I was also doing credit repair on the side while working at Grants. And so it was kind of like, maybe they just could feel it or I don't really know, but like maybe they had that intuition. We still don't know till this day. So if anybody from Grants is watching this, then just let me know because that's all I want to know why I was fired that day. But it ended up being the best decision that could have happened to me. It like kind of like pushed me into entrepreneurship. Now,
So put your back against the wall and you're on your drive home. What's going through your mind? And like, now are you thinking immediately like, oh, I'm full in business? Are you thinking I got to get another job? Where's your head at when you're leaving that office?
yeah, I'm thinking about all those things. I'm like, do I need to get another job? Am I just going to go all in on entrepreneurship, even though that's something that I've never done before? Like, what is next for me? Like, I was thinking all those things. Now, I did have a partner that I was working with on the credit repair. And so he was waiting, it seemed like. He gives me a call and he's like, yo, like, I'm driving. He lived in North Florida at the time. He's like, I'm driving down right now. I'm packing a small bag. I'm on my way. And like, we're going to get this done. And like, this is going to be the best decision. That's what he said. He's like, this is going to be the best decision that ever happened to you. Like, you can thank Grant later. And so I'm like, all right, like, I'm good. Like, I was making some decent money with him. So I'm like, all right, done. Like, let's get this. Now I guess I'm going to be a full-time entrepreneur. And mind you, nobody in my family's done that. I was the first person to move from Syracuse to Florida. I was the first person now to become an entrepreneur. So like, at that point, you're kind of like looking for some guidance from like a family member, but they haven't been through the experiences that you have. Like, this is your life. Like, I can only take so much advice from them on something that they haven't done. So I just ask them, I'm like, I'm thinking about becoming a full-time entrepreneur. Like, what are your thoughts? And thanks to my dad, he was pretty supportive of me. His only advice that I remember is whatever work or times that you set out for your 9 to 5, you need to set that same time for your business. So you need to wake up, get to work 9 to 5, like no goofing around, like really set that time to work. And then, yeah, that's all I got to say to you. And I'm like, done, bet. And so I got up every single day. Me and my partner, we called it boot camp. He slept on my couch for the first 2 weeks. Now, it was boot camp. We woke up, we walked to the coffee shop, and we got straight to work all day, every day. And 9 to 5, it was 9 to 9. And I'm talking about every single day. Like, I went to church on Sundays, but other than that, we're working. And so we were grinding. And all this at the time was all organic. Now, thankfully, thankfully, those that I worked at Grant paid off tremendously. Those were probably like one of the most important 3 months. Maybe I'm gassing it, but those were very important 3 months of my life. Like, I learned sales, how business owners think. I learned marketing, just going through his Cardone University, just learning like the way you need to think about money and just mindset, even just everything, everything like business wise, like Grant is very smart at. And I recommend, if anybody's watching, go buy Cardone University. Some of my guys are probably still working in there. So yeah, go at it. But like, just being in Cardone University, learning sales skills, learning the whole 9 years. Because me growing up, like, I was like, oh, I'm too kind or I'm too nice to like really go for sales. I don't want to be too pushy or anything like that. And that's wrong. If I have something that I know you need, if I could sell you that shirt off your back that I know you'd like, that I know like would service you, but I'm like, oh no, I don't want to be too pushy because it costs $20 and nah, I don't think he'll buy it. Then I'm doing you a disservice, because this could be something that you end up loving. This could be something that you need, but I'm wrong because I don't want to actually sell or close you on that. That's wrong on my part, because I have something of value that could actually be useful for you. So just changing like my mindset on sales as a whole, and just seeing it not as a bad thing, and just enjoying the process. Like, I think that takeaway from Grant and just all those key points, like, and being around business owners all the time, like at those events, I'm in a room full of business owners trying to sell them. So just hearing how they think, hearing how they like move with money. Like, one of the things that I always bring up now is there's no shortage of money. That's the biggest, like one of the key things that I heard at Grant's office. And like, that's how I move now. And like, once you stop thinking about money that way and you start thinking of it like there's no shortage, like, see how big the ocean is? Like, there's no shortage. Like, and like, there's so many like key things. Like, if you have a money problem, you have a people problem. You need to get in front of more people. Like, there's just so many things. And so I was actually talking to my partner about all these things, because I'm fresh out of Grant. So like, all these things are still instilled in my mind. And he's like writing notes down as I'm speaking to him. He's like, yo, where'd you learn that, Grant? I'm like, yeah. But there was like so many like great things that I learned throughout that time period that I think like definitely helped set me up for business on my own. And so we were going to these coffee shops, and we weren't running ads or anything. All of this was from my personal Instagram page, just posting up, reaching out to people, and I'm doing the closing, just me. And I was closing a lot. I was closing multiple 6 figures, like on my own, just me, a phone call at the coffee shop. And then we're in this one day, and my partner, he's like, yo, like, we can't keep doing this. How are we going to get to $1 million a month? Like, just like posting up on your page, not knowing, there's no predictability in it. We don't know when the next deal is going to come from. Like, something's got to give. And so we're like, okay, ads. Let's start running ads. Like, that was like the pivotal moment. So then we start running ads. Boom. First month running ads, 6-figure month, most money we've ever made. It was a lot of money, like going out and stuff like that, but it was the most money we've made from ads. And like, one, learning a lot from grants, but another thing that really helped when we were first starting off is in business is my credit. I've always kept my credit good. I've always kept my credit clean. And so that was super beneficial to be able to unlock business funding, to be able to get my first 100K, because like we were hustle mode for the first few months. But then now once you're trying to build real structure in your business, one, you need employees, which costs. So now you got to pay for payroll. Two, you need to run paid ads. Ads aren't free. And if you want a 6-figure month, you better be spending. So keep my credit right and being able to unlock $100,000 in business funding at 0% interest, like that was key to like get able to jumpstart the business with actual structure and like being able to take it to the next level and scale to that first six-figure month. So boom, we hit our first 6-figure month. Then like now it's like predictable. Now it's consistent. All right, we need to spend this much in ads to get this much return on an investment. And so now like I'm not hustling. Like now we have salespeople. Now we have people taking care of this, that. So now it's not just on the phone dialing all day, every day from 9 to 9. Now like there's predictability. Now we have salespeople taking the calls. Like now the marketing team's handling, posting up and whatnot. It was like super nice to be able to scale and like take myself out of the business a little bit. And so now like we've grown to big business. Business was featured on Forbes, USA Today, Entrepreneur Magazine. So like now we're doing all these big successful things. And I mean, this all started from me getting fired from grants and from just hustling in coffee shops to now like having multiple employees. In this month, the month of August, like we just did 400K in revenue. So the business has been jumping like beyond measure, and yeah, just super blessed, super grateful. And I mean, yeah, like I said, like it's like God ordained the steps, because working at grants, being fired, to now running a business that's multiple 6 figures a month. I mean,
so you talked about how nobody in your family was an entrepreneur. You kind of were the first in your family. And so when you're going out, and who do you look for mentorship? Do you talk this business, or are you kind of just figuring this all out as you go?
Yeah, so lucky enough, I've been blessed with a lot of good people in my life just along the way. And they've kind of helped me in different areas, in different ways of life. Like even my partner that I did the car rental business with, like when we first moved out here, like he had a lot of game. He was very like at a high level when it came to business. And so he helped me. Like obviously like there's been mentors that like I've paid for mentorship, and they like helped me learn, like maybe it was the credit game or like business funding. So, but a lot of people just from being in my life and just being a good person and just networking, like I've had a lot of good connections and learned a lot of game just organically, just from knowing a lot of people and always putting myself out there. But obviously I'd recommend having a mentor. If somebody has what you want and they're willing to give it to you, whatever it takes, like if it costs money, if it costs you moving, if it costs you like whatever it is, if they have what you want and you feel like they can help you get to where you need to be, I don't see why you shouldn't pay for a mentor or invest your time into a mentor. Maybe it's not even money. Or
are you at a point in your life where you can actually now mentor young entrepreneurs looking to kind of grow into that business world?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I feel like God blessed me with the knowledge to like know, God blessed me with the knowledge and the people around me to be able to like instill in me. And so, yeah, I definitely want to give back and instill in other people. You got to steward what God gave you well. So yeah, I definitely think that, now I can, give back and instill some wisdom into, some people who are looking to grow their businesses. I've had some success. So I think I'd definitely be able to help someone out if need be.
So your dad's a pastor, you grew up in the church. Now you're this big business entrepreneur. talk about just like staying humble, staying the grind, kind of staying the course, and then talk about a little bit like what you have bought now that you've kind of got to a where it's like, you know what, I can go on a trip. I can do this. I got money coming in now. So you can be that big Mr. Worldwide traveler that you wanted to be.
Yeah. So what God gives, God could take away. So, you always got to be humble or else he'll humble you. So I'm always going to give glory to God first and like not be too high and mighty and just being the person that I am. Like I would never like look down on someone. Like I want everybody to succeed. I'm rooting for everybody. So never like feel too high and mighty over someone else. And yeah, from the success in the business, not too long in, I ended up getting a Lamborghini, which was kind of like my dream car. I had to pop off with that.
What was it like driving that off the lot?
That was unreal. At the end of the day, it's just a car. You realize that after probably 2 weeks. But like that first week, top of the world. Like when I'm in the Lamborghini, it's like unreal. It's like, wow, like I'm in Lamborghini, like make this purchase. Like it's like I was chopping on a magazine. Like when they asked like, what car do you want in elementary school? I'm crafting out of the magazine a Lamborghini. I remember that. And I'm like, wow, like this is a real moment. I'm doing it at a young age. And so that was a surreal moment. Like it was super, super exciting. So it turned, I can't lie. But like after like 2 weeks, it's just a car. It's gets you from point A to point B, just like anything else. But it does come with some status though, obviously. Like you have a Lamborghini, like people will probably say what up to you and you pull up places like whatever. So it has its perks, but at the end of the day, it's just a car. And so there was that. And then traveled a little bit. I ended up just getting engaged in Tokyo.
Congratulations.
Japan. So that's another big thing that I did. And yeah, there's been some but once you get that mindset, one, you need cash flow because when I spend that, like I probably make that back in like an hour just off one deal. So like that's like that no shortage mindset that like, yeah, if I spend it, I'll make it back. And just also like needing that cash flow. You need cash flow. Like when you're saving, nah. But when the cash flow's coming in, you can spend because at least it'll come back.
So just to wrap us up, if you could give us one business advice, one personal finance advice, and one life advice.
One business advice, one personal.
What would you do with your personal finances, and just one in life, one overall life advice?
Business advice, I'll just go back to the one just because it's fresh on my mind. In business, if you have a money problem, you probably don't have a money problem. You probably have a people problem. And with that, you need to get out of obscurity. If you feel like you have no clients or you have nobody that like is knocking at your door, it's probably because not to know about you. You need to get out of obscurity. You need to get out of your comfort zone. You probably need to post more. You probably need to be more consistent. And like, you need to get in front of these people's faces. They're not coming knocking on your door for whatever your product is. They're not waking up thinking, oh, well, you might be thinking, oh, I want to wake up and buy a Lamborghini, but they're not thinking, oh, I want to wake up and buy this specific t-shirt. No, like you need to be marketing to them. You need to be staying in front of their face so that they know who you are. And then that gives you a better opportunity for them to buy from you. So if you have a money problem, you don't have a money problem, you have a people problem. You need to get in front of more eyes. You need to get in front of more people. Only reason why I said that one is just because it was fresh on my mind. But I feel like that's a topic that's strong enough.
Personal finance.
Yeah. So stop trying to just save up for everything. Like it's going to take a long, long time. So my biggest thing is credit. Get your credit right. And if you have a good score, it's probably not just about your score. Make sure it's built up properly so that you can unlock anything, like whether it's a house, whether it's getting into an apartment, whether it's buying a car. Like you're going to need credit for all that. But especially if you're an entrepreneur, make sure your credit's in order. So that way, when you are starting a business and you're trying to get it off the ground and you're realizing like, I don't have freaking $150,000 laying around to be able to pay all these people that I need to pay and market the way that I need to. Keep your credit right, and you can just unlock $150,000 to be able to get your business off the ground and scale. And then, start generating that cash flow that you need to. So credit is like a hack. It's like a way to skip the line. Instead of saving for 10 years, boom, get your credit right. Boom, unlock this 100,000. Boom, build your business, scale. Now you have the cash flow. And the last thing that you asked was personal
Life advice, just an overall life advice.
life advice. I mean, life advice, just keep going and like keep showing up every single day. And even if you're grinding in the dark, like one day, like you might be in the spotlight. I mean, I was grinding. I was at one point when my money was running low before the sales jobs, I was Ubering and I was like grinding like from until Uber kicked me off because like they said that, for your safety, I think that you have to go home and you have to cut out this time. And then I was right back to it as soon as they let me back on. And so I was Ubering. I can't remember. Maybe it was like a few months, but I was grinding in the dark when nobody saw, putting in the work as a salesperson, like putting in the work, doing all this stuff. And then you never know how fast your life will change. I was fired. I was working at Grants, fired from Grants, and run a 7-figure operation. So just keep putting in the work. Like, I know it might look dark and gloomy now, but like that sun's going to come out if you keep being diligent and putting in the work.
Man, I appreciate you. Thanks for coming out.
100%. Appreciate you, brother. Thanks for having me.